Last week I hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'd like to thank each and every one of them. Hey everyone, Greg Cazillo from Cazillo.com. Welcome to another Keep Shooting Monday. That's right, my YouTube channel just hit 20,000 subscribers. I'd like to thank each and every one of them. And here's to the next 20, 30, 50, 100,000 subscribers. Hopefully we keep growing, keep getting bigger and bigger, and I'm able to help more and more photographers with their work. So what else is going on? I actually redesigned the newsletter slightly. On every page at Cazillo.com, you can sign up for the email newsletter. You get my top 10 tips PDF file. It's actually a little ebook, which I have another one coming up very, very soon, which you should enjoy. Also, you can get the wedding photographer's checklist, the wedding photo checklist, let me rephrase that, as well as my Lightroom presets. All you can do is sign up, confirm your subscription, and you will get all of that stuff emailed to you after you confirm. The pet portrait photo assignment is due this Friday, March 15th by 5 p.m. Head over to the forum to post that photo and to see all of the rules. You have just a couple of days left to go. There's some really cool ones posted in there already, really creative stuff. So make sure that you get yours in there. It doesn't have to be a dog, doesn't have to be a cat. Just has to be shot in this during the time of the actual contest. So get those in as soon as possible. This week, Think Tank actually released some new products. So you can head over to check out the link here in the description, or you can head over to in the article page and make sure you use my link, because when you head over and shop on their website, you'll actually get an additional $50 of free merchandise as long as you use one of my links. Anyway, they have a special deal going on right now where if you purchase one of their Think Tank hydrophobias, which I reviewed in this video right here. If you're gonna be out in the rain or the snow or anything like that, just get a good camera bag, rain cover, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that there's no issues, okay? Just start with one of these. I've had this for a couple years now. I have a 70 to 200 one with the flash, and I also have this one from 300 to 600. They work great. They're from Think Tank. It's called a hydrophobia. You get an extra free eyepiece, which makes it much easier to use the hydrophobia, and it's definitely a requirement in my mind to use it. So head over to the Think Tank site and pick one of those up. Also this week, Adobe released Photoshop for Android and iOS. It has a lot of really cool looking features, layers, selection tools, adjustments, filters, painting effects, filter brushes, graphical text. You can make a meme if you want. I think that's how you say that. Combine images together. Also, you can sync your projects in between Photoshop on iOS or Android and the desktop, so you can start a project in one or on iOS and then finish it somewhere else on your desktop, which is really cool. You get a free subscription to their Creative Cloud, which is pretty neat, and you can synchronize up to 2 GB of photos, so that works out very nicely. It's $4.99 from the Google Play Store or from the iTunes Store. Not very expensive. Can't wait to see what the iPad or tablet versions are looking like when they come out. But so far, I think they're just smartphone. I'm sure on iOS, though, you can download it and still put it on your iPad, but it might just be the expanded version. I haven't tried it out yet. Some of the reviews that I've said has more to do with the limited screen size, because you know, we're used to working on photos on these big, huge screens. 15, 17, 19, up to 30, 40 inches of our screens nowadays, rather than being limited on that tiny little smartphone screen. So that seems to be the main complaint. Other than that, though, reviews seem to be pretty positive, and when I try it out, I will let you know. First one from AKA iPhone. Great video! Exclamation point. Are you using center point focus? No, I do not use center point focus. I actually prefer to pick the proper focus point so that I do not focus and recompose. which could throw off my depth of field. So check out this video for more information on that. Has a lot of tips and the ways that I like to use my autofocus system in my cameras, and it should apply to just about every other DSLR out there right now.
Hi Greg, after shooting a few weddings in the last couple of years with an Nikon D7000, here's my lenses: 17-50, 70-200, 2.8, 70-300, 3.5, and 18-105. Shot the last with a 17-50 and 70-200, but found it hard to get sharp pics with the 200, either because of shake or improper camera settings. What type of metering do you use, or is there any other setting that I should pay attention to?
Revid64, please check out this metering video. It will give you a lot of information on how I prefer to meter my scenes. And what I actually prefer to do is to use the matrix meter probably 90% of the time. I'm afraid that maybe you would be on a spot meter or something like that. And as far as your photos being blurry, your shutter speed was probably too low, especially when using your longer lenses. So you need to make sure that your shutter speed is at least 200th of a second when you're zooming in. You can cheat a little bit when you have a VR or a vibration reduction, something like that on your camera. You can bring it down a little bit, but you need to be really steady and get a lot of practice at it. So by the way, here is my VR video showing you how to use VR. So make sure that you're checking out both of those. And any questions, of course, ask away. Hi Greg, I have a question concerning the histogram and a metered value multi-center spot. Should I be trusting the histogram more or the meter? As I was talking about a minute ago, make sure that you are on the average, I think they call it, I don't remember what they call it. They call it matrix in Nikon. I'll think of it in a second, I know I will, on the Canons. Anyway, meter the entire scene. That's your #1 indication of how the image is going to look. Then check out your histogram. Here's the histogram video to teach you how to use your histogram properly. Every modern DSLR has one. If you cannot find it, then you can watch this video and read your manual. Nobody reads their manual anymore. You need to. Worst comes to worst, download it onto your smartphone, save it, and then you can read it in bed at night so you don't have to go and pull out the actual book. Anyway, what was the question? Oh yeah, yes, you need to be using your histogram. It's a combination, it's a feeling. It's a matter of what you're actually trying to create. I say that all the time, and people, I don't know if they don't quite understand it. They think I'm just full of it, but there's no real 100% rules when it comes to photography. So you just need to know how your camera works, how that histogram works, and know what you want to create. Once you have all that figured out, and then you're on your way to getting a better image. But yes, it's a combination of the meter first, then the histogram. You want that thing pushed over to the side. Watch my histogram video and you'll get more details. Second question about a histogram. Is there any use of the histogram in night photography? Absolutely, there's a use of the histogram in night photography. You just need to know what you want to create and realize what's going to show up. In the night, you're going to have mostly black in there. That means it's going to be very pushed off to the left side. So you just need to do your best to push that data to the right. It's just going to be a tiny, tiny little bit on the very bottom of that histogram, and that's just fine. Just you have to be thinking about what it's going to look like. How much data is it going to be in that curve? Grab some of my photos, take a look at them, bring them into Photoshop or into Lightroom, see what they look like in there, see what that histogram looks like, and then try and get yours similar to that. It's not going to be an exact science, but it'll get you close. That's what the histogram is for, to make sure that you're not majorly over or under exposing, just to get you close. Hi Greg, I'm planning on building a PC solely for my photo editing. What are the essential things / parts that you consider to have an optimal performance needed? I'm not much of a techie guy. If you can put it in layman's terms, it'd be much appreciated. I don't know if this is vital info, but I'm currently using Photoshop CS5 and planning to upgrade to CS6 soon. Thanks. Building your own PC is a great way to both save money and get exactly what you want in a computer. It works out so well. I've built probably about 6 or 8 computers, something like that, over the years, either for myself or for friends. And I have to say, all of them have worked out really well. I've been lucky in that way, especially the ones that I've built for myself, because I'm able to buy parts slowly. If I can't put all the money into them at once, I buy the things that I absolutely have to have right away. like the case, the motherboard, the processor, some memory, hard drive, what else? A power supply. Those are things I have to have right away, and then I can upgrade and add more things later on as I need them. Now, I'll put some additional thoughts in the description of the video. What else? Expandable, upgradable, oh, and cheaper. If there's a problem with just a single part, you go and just have that one part purchased or replaced instead of sending out the whole machine to be done. So it ends up saving you a lot of money both in the front end as well as in the back end. So what are the things to think about? First, memory sticks. Make sure you're purchasing single memory sticks of a higher size. I suggest getting at least 8 gigabytes of RAM, preferably going up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's going to allow you to run multiple programs at one time, and it'll end up being better when you get a single stick. Most of your motherboards, although they do have 4 slots, you want to maybe have like 2 4-gig sticks. Don't buy 4 2-gig sticks because you'll end up tossing 2 of those. So just think about how far you're going to expand it, as well as how much memory that motherboard can handle. All right, and that's going to be the better way to go. Do you want to have multiple monitors? If you do want to have multiple monitors, make sure you're purchasing a video card that can support more than one monitor, and the type of connection that you have to the monitors or monitor that you already have. Also, the expansion card slots, make sure you're getting the right type for your motherboard. I'm going to explain that in just a minute. And what else? Oh, make sure when you're getting your video cards, they have at least 256 megabytes of RAM. That's actually a requirement, or I should say a suggestion, on the Adobe site. If you're not sure which video cards are supported by Photoshop, which is probably going to be the most graphics hungry program on your computer, then you're going to want to head over to their website. Just do a quick Google for Photoshop video cards, CS4, 5, 6, whatever it is that you're running, and they'll give you a supported list. I've personally not had any issues with any video card, even older ones, running Photoshop or any of the Adobe products. So I'm not exactly sure why they had that list out there, but the big thing is to make sure that the video card itself has at least 256 megabytes of memory on it, and preferably 512 megabytes of memory or more. Something else you need to think about is your storage. Where do you going to put everything? Well, I suggest buying an SSD for your primary hard drive for your operating system and your programs. They are really good, solid hard drives now. They've been around for a number of years, so it's time to upgrade those and benefit from the speed. As far as your photo storage, though, you'll still want to go back to a traditional spinning disk. They are a lot less expensive per gigabyte, and you can get a lot more space into, a lot more gigabytes of space into the same amount of physical space that that drive's going to take up. So SSD for your operating system, hard drives, traditional spinning disks for your photos and RAIDs and all that stuff, for your other bigger storage. First thing I start off with when I'm go to build another computer is actually picking out my motherboard. All right, I'll start there, and the reason for that is to make sure I have the right memory. I'm buying the right video card, that I am getting the right power supply, picking up the right processor, and you want to just make sure that you think everything is going to fit inside of your budget. Set a realistic budget for the amount of money that you can spend, and then do your best to stay within that. Pick that good motherboard. I'm a big fan of the AMD processors and the Asus motherboards. Always have been. I really like them, and I'll keep on buying them because I like them and I think they run well and they're good machines overall. Pay attention to the number of SATA connections for additional hard drives, as well as the maximum amount of memory on those motherboards. You don't want a motherboard that only supports 4 gigabytes of RAM. Your expansion card types, I did mention that I like a Lianli, L-I-A-N-L-I case, because you have to have a case, you have to have a box to put everything in, and so that's the brand that I buy. DVD drives are $20. Buy one, stick it in. Make sure you get all of your cables and things that you need for that. Some parts, although, do come with those cables. Another tip you can buy, another tip is you can actually buy parts that are not open box, but they're in bulk items. That ends up saving you a lot of money. Instead of the, you can buy the retail box item, which is usually $10 or $15 more, or you can buy a bulk item, which is typically just in a plastic bag. It's the same product. It really doesn't matter, but you end up with saving a lot of money. So that can be another easy tip for you. I mentioned the cases and the Lee & Lee brand that I like. Make sure that you are buying a big enough case for the amount of storage that you think you're going to need. In my case, I actually have to have 2 separate cases in order to hold all the hard drives, and so that I have enough storage. And you also need to make sure that you have a big enough power supply in order to hold all of those drives. So size them properly. Personally, I like going with a really big 900, 1,000 watt power supply because I know it's going to be able to handle it. If you get one of the smaller 400 or 500 watt power supplies, you stuff it full of drives, it's just not going to last for you. So you need to buy a good one like a Thermal Take, or there's a couple other brands out there and all of a sudden I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. Anyway, buy a good brand. Don't cheap out on your power supply because you end up replacing it and you're going to wonder what the heck's going on. And so that's the better way to go there. Don't forget the other things, of course, like your monitor, your keyboard, your mouse. Get a good one because that's really what you're interacting with, is the monitor and your keyboard and your mouse. That's kind of how we perceive our computer. We really don't think about the parts and pieces that are in that box that's kind of on the floor or in the corner behind the, you know, underneath the desk or whatever. We really see the monitor and the keyboard and the mouse. So do your best not to cheap out on those. I'm a fan of the Logitech keyboards and mouse. And then I do have a lot of Samsung monitors, which I've had good experience with. That's a whole nother video on choosing a good monitor for photo editing. Last thing, the only real tools you need is a screwdriver. Maybe you need a little bit of, all of a sudden I forget the name of this stuff, Arctic Silver, which is the little bit of goop that you put in between the fan and the processor. It's just it's a thermal paste that you put in between in there so that it pulls all the heat off the processor. Other than that, that's really all the tools you need. It's just a Phillips head screwdriver. So this is a really simple process. If you do have any questions or anything, feel free to ask away on those. But I highly suggest handing over to this link, which is actually on Lifehacker. They have a really great series on putting together your own PC. It's called BYO PC, or Build Your Own PC. And you have a PDF that you can actually download and print if you need to. And a lot of really good information in that packet. Explains everything very well. So head over and take a look at that. Hopefully it will help. As always, I need more questions for Keep Shooting Monday. Make sure to send those over, comment somewhere, and I will gladly feature them. Greg Cazillo, Cazillo.com. Thanks, guys. Keep shooting.